Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. The pressure is on Errol Spence. He's got to do something big, people. The problem is, he's got a 6'6", I think motivated. I like to call him a cockroach, because that's what Sebastian Fundora looks like to me. A big old cockroach. But the thing is, this cockroach can fight. Pressure's on Spence to get a victory. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, they just announced in October that Spence and Fundora is officially on. I haven't seen where they announced a date. It seems like that may be in the works. But October is the month. So it's August, September, October, a couple months away. And I am surprised that I am not seeing, outside of the couple Errol Spence channels, that all they want to do is talk about Errol Spence. For the most part, everyone's talking about Terrence Crawford. There's not much hype behind Errol Spence and his return. And I'm going to tell you, I think Errol Spence is a good fighter. I think he's a great fighter. But I just don't think he's the same. And I think Terrence Crawford took a pound of flesh out of him. Him to come to 154, I just have a feeling, even though it's Fundora, and some people don't give Fundora the credit I think he deserves as a fighter. Let me tell you something. I do think Tim Tszyu would have tranquilized Fundora had he not, been subject to the injury. I think he would have got Fundora out of there. But I want to be fair to Fundora. The reason why he gets hit as much as he does is not because any fighter has figured out how to get beyond his reach. The man has an 80-plus inch reach. Most fights he goes into, he has at minimum a 5-inch reach advantage, up to 8-9 inches. And he's putting that all up in your mouth, right? But what happens is, it's not that the opponents have such a high IQ that they can nullify the reach advantage he has. No. Fundora often, matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, he gonna fight like Pitbull goddamn Cruz. He gonna crouch up and fight like a little goddamn 115-pound Mexican, which to me is stupid. Now, with Errol Spence going up to fight him, this is why I think the pressure's really on Spence. And I think Spence is about to take a back-to-back loss. He already lost to Crawford. I think he's about to lose again. This is why. Fundora in his corner, they've been working with Fundora to fight smart and stay behind his jab and make his fights easy. Now, I don't care if you're a Fundora fan or not. When it comes to Cockroach Man and that reach, no one can deny, if he remains disciplined and really learns how to master that jab and be a Lennox Lewis, a Vitaly Klitschko, a Vladimir Klitschko, I think I said I could tell you, a Winky Wright, right? If he's able to figure out how to do that, I think Fundora wins every single fight off his jab alone. And if he has the patience, which he does not have, by round 6, the jab would have softened his opponents up. They would already start taking more risk and lunging in and doing dumb shit. And then he can tranquilize them with the big cockroach right hand. So when it comes to Errol Spence, I don't know if Fundora is going to do all that. But I did notice in the last fight, his corner was talking about that. So that tells me that they realize in order for him to avoid danger in his fights, he's got to utilize that reach advantage. And he started using it with Tszyu. And I think with Spence, he's going to start off using it. And I just think Errol Spence is in a tough spot. Because you've had Terrence Crawford bubble up to 154. He won, okay? Doesn't matter if you agree with the victory or not. He won. Ortiz bubble up to 154. Doesn't matter if you agree with the victory or not. He won. Now you have Errol Spence. It's his turn now. And he's got to figure it out. Because I'm telling you, the roadmap for Errol Spence is for him to get a victory at 154, and I truly believe to go fight Canelo next. I truly believe it. Now, that being said, what is it that Spence has to do to get a victory against Fundor? Well, I think it depends on Fundor. Okay, if you take the Errol Spence that fought Ugas, that went in the ring against Terrence Crawford, that version of Errol Spence should be able to get into a ring with the version of Tim Tszyu, with Fundora, who normally shows up to the ring. And jab, drop the left hand, back Fundora up against the ropes, bang him to the body, work upstairs, keep that pressure on him, and just break him down, right? Because Fundora fights small. The problem is that version of Errol Spence that fought Ugas, that fought Crawford, if Fundora doesn't allow him to execute his game plan, right? Spence is going to have problems. You look at Crawford. Spence, the first round, he wasn't having his way, but he won that first round against Crawford. Just stepping to him, keeping the pressure, jab, trying to shoot the left hand, caught Crawford with a couple of shots. But Crawford was, for the most part, just seeing what he does, his tendencies, his habits, downloading the data. And then after that first round, you saw it was all downhill for Errol Spence. Even though he had heart and he tried, it was all downhill. Him going up against Fundora. One, Errol Spence isn't the same fighter. Okay? The other thing that concerns me about Errol Spence, and we got to be honest. Who's his trainer? I saw somebody saying Errol Spence is training himself. I said, hey, yo, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Errol Spence is training himself. The hell out of here with that shit. Who's he now? Victor Ortiz trained himself. Went out there to some Junior Olympics or whatever the hell he did with no trainer, no nothing. Just asked somebody to go in his corner. He won the gold medal. You hear that shit he was saying over there on Vlad TV? I mean, so let's stop with the shenanigans, right? He's not Victor Ortiz, and that's not the story that I want to hear people spreading about Errol Spence, because Errol Spence is not going to be out here training himself. But I don't know who he's working with. And what I will tell you is, this gives, I think, should be giving more confidence to Fundora, knowing that Errol Spence is coming off of being inactive. One, he's coming off of a loss, coming off of being inactive, coming off of injuries, right? And he's going to be getting in the ring with him, coming off a trainer change. And everything Errol Spence did instinctively, he's going to have a new trainer. And when you see these fighters pick up new trainers, instead of them getting there and do what comes natural to them, the things that help them gain success, right? And be on the winning side in most of their fights, they now come in the ring and are combating what comes instinctively because they're trying to deliver the game plan from a new trainer. And you see sometimes you can tell those fighters are conflicted because they're just overthinking this shit. Because what they want to do, they're trying not to do because the trainer's like, no, do this. Whoever Errol Spence ends up, whether it's Roy Jones, I ain't gonna lie, I hope he and Derrick James resolve things, but Derrick James, they say all good things come to an end. I'm not saying nothing's coming to an end, but one thing about Ryan Garcia over there, man, shit just started falling apart for him. Went over there and brought cuckoo Ryan over there. Shit started falling apart for Derrick James. Anyway, we'll see what Errol Spence does there. But when I look at it, that's a lot of unresolved problems, right? We're trying to solve for X on a lot of things, the unknowns, and we won't figure it out until fight night. Unfortunately for Errol Spence, I think he won't figure out if he still has anything left until he gets in that ring with Fundora. I don't know if Errol Spence is going to continue sparring 15 3-minute rounds. To be honest with you, Errol Spence's sparring sessions, that's probably what beat the fight out of him. and beat some years off of him. It's one thing to have the car accidents, because there were two. One thing to have the tough fights on fight night, but it's the violence that he endured in that gym getting ready for his fights. So the pressure's on, because I'm telling you right now, I see there's some diehard Errol Spence fans, and it doesn't matter. A person can run up on Errol Spence and pull a gun out and put up to his head, and they'll be like, yeah, take that bullet, Spence. Yeah, ain't nothing gonna happen to you, man. Yeah. All he gonna do is shoot you. It ain't gonna do nothing, man. That's Errol Spence. Yeah. And then, boom, they hit the man. Boom, Errol Spence gone. And the Bozo fan told, yeah, he about to get up. He tough. Ain't nothing wrong with Errol Spence. Stupid. He got shot in the head with a sawed-off shotgun. He has no head no more. You still sitting here talking about Errol Spence is ready for the Crawford rematch. He's gone. But for the fans who are practical and realistic, they know Errol Spence has an uphill battle. Who do I think has the toughest fight? Crawford and Marjamov, that was a tough fight for Marjamov and Crawford. Bohachuk and Virgil Ortiz. Those were tough fights for both of them. Spence and Fundora, just when I say the names, right, without me analyzing anything, when I say Spence, Fundora, that doesn't sound like it's supposed to be a hard fight for Errol Spence. Just when I think about the names, once I take a deep breath and blow it out, it's like, okay, hold on. This ain't the Spence that fought Lamont Peterson. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the Spence that fought Ugas. Danny Garcia, Porter. This a different Spence. This fight may be more difficult for Spence. I think he's going to lose, so I just want to put that out there. It may be more difficult for Spence, Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, than the fight for Marjamov and Crawford and the fight for Bohachuk and Virgil Ortiz. Remember, I'm not getting into who I think won those fights. I'm just telling you, I think Errol Spence may have the biggest challenge in front of him because he's no kidding going to lose decisively, and I think it could be by stoppage. And unfortunately for him, losing to Fundora, that's when you're going to see people who haven't been advocating for Errol Spence to retire. I think then you'll see people saying, even his diehard fans who are loyal to him, and I think they'll even say, okay, look, you got to go. And that's unfortunate for Fundora because it kind of takes away from him. But he's obviously evolving, trying to get better like everyone else. And finally, if he does what I think he's going to do, maybe he's finally decided, let me stay behind this 80-plus inch reach jab and make these fights easy. Because I tell you what, it doesn't matter who Fundora fights. If he stays behind his jab, use that footwork to move in and out, to move out on angles, to circle around that ring, keep that fight in the center of the ring, he will have success. Look, too tall, he's got good speed, he's got some pop, obviously. I just think he makes it easy. I think Fundora make that because I think Fundora could come undisputed at 154. How about that? If he stays behind that jab. I'm telling you, man, an effective jab, hard to overcome that. I don't care what anyone says. That being said, pressure's on Spence. What's he going to do? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it because Keith Thurman ain't doing nothing. Porter's retired. Nobody knows where Ugas is. You got Lubin up there. I mean, Danny Garcia is fighting in some weird weight. It's on Errol Spence. Even Danny Garcia, he went up to 154 and was successful. Yeah, he fought Jose Benavidez Jr., but the pressure's on Spence. I wish that man the best of luck because I got a little soft spot in my heart for that guy because of that car accident and shit. That just when I think about that, man, no matter how he ended up in the situation, it's just real unfortunate because I think he's had a lot of years off of his career taken from him. But he want to continue now, and he's going to be fighting Fundora. So I think he understands the pressure's on him. He's got to look good. And if he can come and knock out Fundora, that's going to say a lot about Errol Spence. Because Fundora, whether you think he's quirky or not, he wears those glasses. Him and his sister look like two big nerds and shit. He can fight, and he's tough. And I think it'd be a good win for Spence. Even though they'll try to put the spin on like Errol Spence had the easiest path to a 154-pound title than Virgil Ortiz and Terrence Crawford. But hey, it is what it is, right? Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.